In Skyrim, you have many ways to build your character. You can be a Wood Elf stealth archer, a Khajiit stealth archer, or go for a one-handed build before respeccing your character to be a stealth archer. However, it also gives you the option to use magic to set stuff on fire like the little arsonist you are. This is the Can You Beat Skyrim as Red Sun challenge. While you're watching me set up our character here, I'm going to lay down the law for y'all. I'm only allowed to use fire destruction class spells, and there are 2 exceptions to this. I'm allowed to use the basic healing spell you start with and summon Bound Sword because of the one scene where Red Sun uses fire daggers to fight, I think it was May, and then the Bound Sword kind of looks like it's on fire, so that's why I'm letting it be used. And the basic healing spell, because I would not have been able to finish this challenge without it, I'm not allowed to get any more advanced healing spells after this one. The only other type of non-magic damage I'm allowed to do is with my fists, so unarmed damage, because of the one scene where Red Sun fights MK, tries to square up with him, and throw some non-fire punches, so I'm counting that as damage I'm allowed to do. I'm also allowed to use scrolls, but that rule doesn't really come in useful at all during this challenge, so it might as well not be a rule. And I'm allowed to use the Fire Breath shout and any utility shouts I'm forced to use, and I'm just straight up allowed to use the Whirlwind Sprint shout because of reasons we will see later, and all spiders must die. I know why, you know why. I do have a few mods installed, but they mostly add new locations to the game and make horses faster. Besides the alternate start mod, it doesn't affect anything, and I will be using the alternate start mod, by the way, because I have played this game for over 1,000 hours, and I have seen that that intro sequence way too many times. So I chose the Outlaw start and ended up in the Bandit Tower outside of Riften, which is perfect because inside of Riften there's an item I really need. I couldn't have scripted this better if I tried. Anyways, after murdering my fellow bandits to death, I strolled over to Riften and promptly got arrested as I forgot starting as a bandit with the mod gives you a bounty in the nearest settlement. Not terrible, and after I get out, after taking a short nap, I headed straight to the Ratway and proceeded to spend 15 minutes trying to kill the guys near the entrance, because for some reason at my level they were stupidly strong. After I took care of them, the rest were pretty easy. I relieved G in the fist of his gloves, and then I proceeded to make my way towards Helgen to start the main quest, because if you pick the alternate start, you have to go start it manually. Anyways, after that, I grabbed Hradvar because he was the closest to the entrance, and proceeded to abandon him while I went to go clear up Bleak Falls Barrow and retrieve the Dragonstone, so I don't gotta backtrack later. The dungeon wasn't that hard because Draugr, much like actual people, don't like getting torched in the face. And I made my way straight to Dragon's Reach, which I used a hidden dialogue option you get to use on Farengar if you use magic, which I thought was pretty cool because I did not know you could do that. Anyways, after getting Farengar to talk to me, I handed over the Dragonstone and then went to go throw my hands with one of the first dragons. If I'm being honest, the guards did most of the work because my spells at this level aren't powerful enough to make a dent in something that breathes fire, and I also don't have the Bound Sword spell yet, so that's off the table. Anyways, after absorbing the dragon's soul while everybody else did the work for me, I'm yelled at from a distant mountain by some old guys, so I gotta go climb the 7,000 steps, and when I get to the top, another old guy tells me I'm the chosen one, and I gotta yell back at him. This is one of the instances where I'm forced to use the unrelenting force shout, so again, I'm just gonna remind you, this does not count as invalidating the challenge, because I am forced to use this. Anyways, after also losing the footage of me going through the dungeon to get to the Jurgen Windcaller, I find it's not there, so I have to go kick down Delphine's door to get it back. She tells me I have to go fight a dragons in Kynesgrove to prove that I'm actually the Dragonborn, so I do that. She says, "Oh, I should have believed you all of this time," and then sends me on a different mission, this time to infiltrate the Thalmor embassy. Well, I've played this game so many times, I know immediately the best thing to do is grab a drink from, I think his name is Malborn, and hand it to Razlon to make a distraction, and I think this is either the only way to make a distraction or the easiest way. Either way, it works, and we get into the Thalmor embassy. I find their letters, which confirm they know little to nothing about the dragons, but a lot to nothing about Esbern. So we gotta go get that guy, but first I need to release the guy they have trapped in their murder basement, and also accidentally killed Malborn in the process. I I'm so sorry, Malborn, you did nothing wrong. I hit you with a stray flame spell. After forcibly evicting the troll that lives down there from his home, I headed straight back to Delphine, and now I gotta go fetch an old guy in the sewers. What is it with old guys in this game? Once I get down into the sewers, I have to fight a few people, including an old deaf lady, which now that I say that out loud, it sounds really bad, but trust me, she was totally being a nuisance and not just running away from me in the opposite direction for some reason, instead of attacking me like her AI should have. After disposing of the evidence and stealing everything that she has on her, I talked to Esbern and had to sit through the longest door unlocking animation I have ever experienced. Now, come to think of it, I can see why he was wary, because I murdered an old deaf lady outside of his door, but seriously, it took you like 5 minutes to unlock that thing. I don't know if it was a bug or something else, but it was kind of ridiculous. After convincing him I wasn't going to murder him like I did with literally every other old person in these sewers, I bring him back to Delphine and they have a happy reunion while I sit there in my stupid cultist mask and watch. Anyway, somewhere along the way, while I wasn't paying attention, they decided we needed to go and find the Old Blades Temple, so that's where we're heading next. I had a quick detour to kill some Draugr in a mine right outside the temple because some guy told me I couldn't, and I would hate to tell him this, but once again, fire and Draugr do not mix, and at this point I think I'm like level 7 or 8, so it's not even a challenge anymore. I also picked up the first word of the Fire Breath Shout earlier, which I also lost the footage for, so you're just gonna have to trust me on that one once again. But yeah, they all died really quickly. After spending 30 minutes trying to get the Forsworn to kill a stupid dragon and finally killing said stupid dragon, I finally get to fight this Forsworn, and I make my way into the Blades Temple with Esbern and Delphine, and also Ruthgard, because I picked her up earlier in Whiterun, because she's really good for the early game levels, and she'll just be useful until the end of this main story mission, just because I don't go over her level cap. After spending 10 minutes trying to figure out this puzzle, yes, seriously, I have played this game at least 20 to 30 times through, and I forgot this puzzle solution. I finally do make it into the temple, like the bumbling fool I am. After looking at a pretty wall and blanking out because I've been through this section of the game at least 1,000 times before, we finally get on to the real stuff, which is meeting Parthenax, one of the more important story beats, and I think about marks just the middle of this playthrough. I learn the Clear Sky shout from the Greybeards, and then meet Parthenax, who I lost the footage for. This is very unfortunate. I switched my recorder to OBS afterwards because the screen recorder I was using just kept corrupting my footage, and the footage you've seen so far, it's a miracle it even made it. After some shenanigans with the College of Winterhold and Esbern and Delphine, and learning I need to get the Elder Scroll to learn the Dragonrend shout, I have to go into Blackreach. And I also had to fight this Khajiit here along the way, which was kind of terrifying because he stayed crouched the entire fight, and I'm not sure if this was a bug or an intentional feature from the Legendary Edition patch I was using, but he was just crouching the entire time he was fighting me, and it was really terrifying because the way NPCs move while they're crouching is just, I don't know what it is about it, it's just horrifying because you don't usually tend to see it while you're doing it, but when somebody else does it, it's just unnatural and creepy and weird. Anyways, after spending way too much time on the Elder Scroll puzzle than somebody who's played this game as much as I have, I finally retrieve said Elder Scroll and take it back to the Greybeards. Wait, no, that's not right. I take it back to Parthenax. I don't know why I said Greybeards. After sitting through the world's longest and worst unskippable cutscene ever, seriously, you should be able to skip this because I've played through this game like 20 to 30 times, and I've played through the main quest at least like 15 of those times, and like, I get it, like, the first time you want somebody to see the cutscene you've worked so hard on, but after the 15th time, it is such a slog to sit through, and you just want to go fight Alduin. And by the way, I had to watch this twice because the first time my game bugged out and Alduin was not taking any damage, so I had to reload my save and watch this whole cutscene over twice. So that's 10 minutes of my life that's just gone now, or however long this stupid cutscene is. You can tell how much I despise sitting through unskippable cutscenes. After finally getting my game to actually work again, I spent like 30 minutes fighting Alduin, because turns out using fire magic on a giant fire-breathing lizard isn't very effective. Parthenax did like the majority of the damage to him for me. I sat there hiding behind a rock, waiting for my stamina to regen, shooting fire at him, retreating and pressing myself up against the rock so the firestorm didn't hit me, and then using Dragon Rend on both him and Parthenax, so I didn't have to do as much work. It was very tedious, and I would not wish this upon my greatest enemy. Are there easier ways I could have done this? Yeah, probably. Could I have probably found a more effective fire spell? Yeah, probably. Did I only stick with the basic fire spell you get at the very beginning of the game? Yes, I did. Am I proud of the fact that I fought a giant fire-breathing lizard with only fire and spent 30 minutes of my life doing it? No. I then had to sit through the world's second worst, not technically a cutscene, but it really should have been for the fact it drags on for at least 10 to 15 minutes. I had to sit here during my weekend playing this stupid game and sitting through this stupid conversation that could have just been a cutscene that you can sit through and go grab food or whatever while you're waiting for it to be done with. But no, they gave you dialogue options, so I could not walk away from the computer while doing this. I played most of this playthrough in one day. Like, the first couple sections of it I did like a week earlier, but like the end sections, like the sections after like the first hour or two were all recorded in the same day. So I played Skyrim for 5 hours during a weekend, and I had to sit through, the Alduin cutscene from the Elder Scroll twice, and then I had to sit through the stupid council meeting, which also takes forever, and I can't just walk away from my computer and do something else because I gotta click dialogue. So it was not a fun time, but finally we get to the actual interesting stuff. After convincing a bunch of adults that yes, the end of the world is more important than their silly war, I finally get to use the Dragon's Reach castle to trap Odahviing. Or Odahviing? I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Anyways, we catch the big red dragon, which, by the way, has one of the coolest models I've seen. I don't think any of the other dragons are this red color. And we go to Skull Dolphin. At this point in the game, I was tired and I just wanted to have my nice, relaxing weekend instead of playing the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I ran past every enemy, every dragon up here possible because I was just about up to here with it. And this is why I got the Whirlwind Sprint shout, so I could just run straight past the Dragon Priest and jump into the portal without having to wasting my time battle him, which, by the way, is a totally valid strategy, and is the only reason why I let myself use the Whirlwind Sprint, because I didn't want to deal with any more bullcrap. Anyways, once I reached the Dragonbone Bridge, I had to fight Sun, and he was pretty easy to defeat. At this point, I am like level 11, so I have the perk that makes my destruction spells really, really powerful. Like 20 to 50% more powerful, I forget what it is. But yeah, he was not that much of a challenge. I was honestly expecting more of one, but I'm kind of glad it wasn't, because once again, I just wanted to get this over with. After doing some more shouting into the void with some other people, we summon Alduin and the fight starts. Now, I was expecting this fight to be very hard because the one with Parthenax took me 30 minutes, but it turns out when you have 3 legendary warriors fighting alongside you, and they don't have just fire spells to use on the fire-breathing lizard, the fight goes fairly quickly, and I did get the last hit on Alduin with my fists. I killed the main boss of this game with unarmed damage. I didn't use my fire. I used the gloves of the pugilist, and he went down in a few swings, and it was kind of honestly impressive. And now, back talking with Parthenax, we have answered the question of, can you beat the Elder Scrolls Skyrim as Red Sun? And the answer is a resounding yes. Now, could I have made this challenge harder on myself by purely using fire? Yes. Would that have been fun for me? No. Would that have been fun for you guys to wait like 2 years because I was not having fun, therefore I was not playing? No. So, yeah, I think this run was pretty fun. I'm probably going to use this character again at some point just for personal playing, but I'll keep just using the rules I set in place because, challenges are fun, and this was a fun challenge. And I hope to see you all later. I'm gonna go start working on my Scarlet and Violet video about Area Zero. But yeah, if you liked this or liked my other videos, I'm not gonna ask this very often, but just consider subscribing and just keep a lookout for more content because I post semi-regularly if I can help it, and I'm very active on the community tab. But I hope you all have a great day. Make sure to drink your water, and Dovenor out.